Hi guys, it's Justine, and today I have a slightly different kind of video for you guys today. So this past fall, from like September through December 2015, I took a painting class at my college. It was not required, like an exact painting class was not required for my degree, but I am required to have so many humanities credits to complete my degree. So I decided to take a painting class to complete that requirement. It was just beginners painting, but it was honestly such a hard class. It was so just difficult for me. I haven't taken an art class since my freshman year of high school, and it was very, very difficult, and it was very, very time consuming. The class was already 6 hours a week in class, plus I had like about an hour break between classes, so I would usually stay about an hour late after the class had finished to work on my paintings, and I would usually take them home and work on them several hours at home throughout the week and over the weekend. And it was such a hard class. It was a very stressful class, and it was a very time-consuming class. And I think one of the biggest, like, I have so much respect for art majors after this class because it was very, very difficult for me. And it wasn't like I was like, it's the first time I've taken a class since my freshman year of high school, but it's not like I'm new to using paints. I use paints a lot at home. I paint a lot on my own for fun. I use acrylic paints a lot, especially for fun, and that's the medium we used in this class. Is we used only acrylic paints, and so like it wasn't like I was using something that I was totally unfamiliar with, and it was still a very difficult class for me. I'm also like I felt like a lot of the times that this class was like out of my control, because for example, like if I'm having difficulties with another class, I just, like I study more, I read the chapter like that we're working on like several times, I take notes, I can do research online. But this class was very much like trial and error, I felt like, and most of the time I felt like it was error. But anyways, I was debating like whether or not to like do this video because it has been a month since the class ended, and I already ordered like frames for these paintings because I do want to put them up in my house because I worked so hard on them, and I do want to put them up on my house to display them. And so I figured like I would just show them off before I put them in their frames, because once I put them in the frames there's going to be like a glare on the glass and all that. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of show you the painting and explain like the requirements that we had for the class, and we're just going to do them in order. So the first painting we did was supposed to be a black and white painting, and it was just of a still life that was in the front of the class, and we were supposed to work on blending. Like we only used two colors of paint, black and white, so all the gray in this is what I mixed together. And this is my painting, and like at the time I was very proud of it, but now that like I've gotten a little better, like I kind of see where my mistakes came in. And so basically for this painting, what we were graded on was like getting our lines, doing the shading correctly, like where the light hit and stuff. Also, this painting, part of the requirement was we were supposed to have a pattern in the back. And when I turned it in, it had a pattern, but when I got it back, I did not like the pattern at all. I thought it took away from the painting, so I painted over it with black after it had already been graded, because that's just how I want it when I hang it up in my house. But yeah, so that's the first one. I did get points taken off for my lines. Like if you are like a professional artist, you probably look at this and think it looks like shit, because my lines are horrible, and like the paint is very thick and kind of like chalky looking. Is chalky the right word? I don't know. Like it's very thick, and so it didn't blend super great in some areas. But like for my first painting and my first painting class in like 5-6 years, like I think that's pretty good. So yeah, that is this one. And yeah, even though it's not my best painting of the ones that we did, I still am very, very proud of it. Oh, and then we also worked on like cylinders and spheres. Like these were the first shapes we worked on when we learned how to do like cylinders and spheres, and like we drew them and then we painted them. And yeah, so that's my first one. And then the second painting, we worked on like taking our previous knowledge of cylinders and spheres and shading, and we added the color burnt sienna. And so then we used burnt sienna, which is like a brown, like I think it's like a brown color. Artists might call it something else, but we had to mix it with like gradients of black and white just to make like different variations of the color. And then we used black and white. We had to use like the requirements for this painting were here. I'll show it to you. This was another still life, by the way. She just put these objects in the front of the room and we had to copy them and paint them. And so like it was like mine were like, I don't know if you can see, but my objects were like a big vase, like a ketchup bottle. This was like a piece of fruit, like I don't even know what kind of fruit, like a gourd maybe. And then just like a cube, and then this was like a picture, and then we just had to get the shadowing, the shading, and use burnt sienna. And we had to have, since it was like we were learning how to do cubes for this painting, we had to include at least like one cube or rectangle, and I have a rectangle down here and a cube down here. So that's how I met that requirement. This was also one of the requirements, was again to use a pattern on your cube. You had to do a pattern on your cube, and same thing with the first painting. I did the pattern, and then when I got it back, I liked it better without the pattern. I thought the pattern looked awkward, and so I painted over it. And so that's why this color is a little different, because for these ones it was all burnt sienna, like we mixed different shades of burnt sienna, and this one I went home and I just used like a normal brown shade that I had previously from my own acrylic paints, not the ones that we were required to have for the class. So that is my next painting, and like as you can see, like slowly my lines are getting better, and it's just slowly getting better. Again, if you're like a professional artist, this isn't going to look great, but I mean, I'm not a professional, so I'm pretty proud of myself for these paintings. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing a video on them. And then the next painting is when we started using color. I don't know if like how well I'm going to be able to really describe like the requirements for this painting, but what our teacher did is she made like collages. She like took a background from a magazine, and then like she just took like items from like a magazine by like on like a little 2x2 square and glued them together. And so mine, I don't have like the original piece that I originally had, but mine was, this is a boot, and then the rest is just like, this was like a plain gray, and then this was like a black and white like shadow, like I think it was like white with like black shadows. And so what we had to do is we had to use at least one warm color and one cool color. And then for one of the items in our picture, we had to use like, we picked one color, any color we wanted, and we had to do like from dark to light of that color to do the shadowing. So like that's what I did for the blue, and all I did was mix it with the white to get this color. And then for this one, we also had to do one color that was like colors next to each other on the color wheel. And so I did from like the purple to the red, and then I did it like a little lighter, so it was like purple to like purple red, like violet to like violet red to like red. And so that's where I got the purple pink, because I mixed them with white, and then you like mix those together to get the shadowing. And so I think I did like the pink for like where like light hit the image, and then purple for where like there was shadow, and I just blended it that way. And then since this was just like a plain gray and there wasn't like any shadowing on it, I did orange. And then like I said, we had to have at least one warm color, which is like the orange and the pink, and then one cool color, which is the blue. And I honestly don't know if purple is a warm or a cool color. So if you know, you can leave it down in the comments, because I honestly don't know if purple is a warm or a cool color. It shows you how much I learned in the class. It's very much like an abstract painting, and that was like the point of it, is it's supposed to look like abstract. It's like a collage that our teacher put together, and she just kind of like handed out the little collages. So yeah, and this one was my favorite to do, just because we did get to use like bright colors. We were mixing like white in with this one, but like, you know, we weren't using like neutral colors, like we were using like bright ass colors. So I just think it's so pretty, like, and I love the colors that I chose, and it just looks cool. And this was also like, especially like after the first two paintings where it was very strict on what we had to paint, like, you know, we're painting a still life in the front of the room, and we had very specific colors we needed to use. This was a lot of fun, especially because we got to choose any colors we wanted on the color wheel, and we did paint a color wheel prior to doing this to practice, you know, mixing colors with white, and so that we knew like which color combinations we were required to use. And so yeah, so that is it for my third painting. And then this final painting was the hardest to do. And so this painting, we pretty much got full control on what we wanted to paint. We did have to paint like, it was like, we had to paint like a zoomed in picture, and we had to choose it from like a magazine, and we had to use like toned down colors. And so like to tone down a color, we would use like the colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel. And so like, I'm just gonna show you. And so this was what I did. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see my face, so hopefully you can hear me. Here. So this is the picture that I painted. It's just 2 peaches and a tomato. And so like, as you can see, like the yellows are kind of like toned down, and to tone those down, I would mix what was opposite of the color on the color wheel, which was purple. The red right here is a little toned down, and so I mixed it with like green to tone it down a little bit. And I just did that pretty much for every color. I had to match the colors almost exactly to the photo. This was definitely the hardest. I spent so much time working on this one. Like 2 days before it was due, I think I spent like 8 hours at home working on the painting, just to like, and all I was doing is, it was pretty much done, but I was fixing up little details, just trying to make it perfect. And yeah, and at the end, it looked very, very close to like how the actual magazine picture looked. And I mean, I'm really proud of how this turned out. But yeah, that was just kind of a video that I've been going back and forth on doing for a while. I was like, you know what, I don't know if anyone really want to watch this kind of video, but I really want to make this kind of video, so I'm just gonna do it. If you like watched it till the end, I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a very hard class. I would like to tell you that it was a very hard class, but it was a very fun class, but it was not fun. It was so difficult for me, but I'm so glad it's over, and now I have like 4 paintings that I can use to decorate my hallway with, because there's literally nothing in my hallway. The walls of my hallway are super bare, and now I have something I can put on them. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. My social media is linked down below. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and thank you for watching. Bye guys.